Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
There is.
Hello, AfterBuzz fans. Welcome back to Public Morals, Season 1, Episode 7, Collection Day. I'm your host, Roxy Striar. You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar. You can find us at AfterBuzz TV, AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube.com/AfterBuzzTV, iTunes, SoundCloud, all those fun places. And with me is my amazing panel, alongside the incredibly talented, wonderful, gotta stroke his ego tonight because he's feeling a little down, Phil Svitek.
Watch the show. Tell a friend. Tell people to watch the show. You watch the show, but tell friends. This show is too damn good not to be watched by more people.
It's a really good show, and I think I know some people who agree across the table. Christina Kaplan.
What's up, people? You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at TinaCap.
Was that a little shot that you did? Wow, this show's really good.
There's a lot of guns in this show. I'm just feeling it.
I feel that, and somebody else who's feeling it right now, Anna Koppel.
I'm feeling it. I'm Anna Koppel. You can follow me at Koppel from Air, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
Okay, so what did we think of this show tonight? I know you think it's an amazing show in general, but episode 7, we only have 8, 9, and 10 left, so how are we feeling about tonight's episode?
This was a little slower. A little bit slower.
I disagree.
A little bit. Not much.
I disagree. I thought a lot of interesting stories are really starting to bubble up and open up and reveal themselves a lot more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're boiling the water before you put the pasta in. The
so you thought it was
action.
Really slow when Rusty just drowned Teresa to death in the tub and then shot her. That was slow.
That's the boiling water he was talking about, clearly.
Yeah, no, but the whole, so we've had whole episodes where people are just dying and there's just a lot, and it's hard to keep up with what's going on, and yeah, I feel like the end of the episode, there more happened maybe. But, but I like when this happens because it's always like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
So they're just sort of setting it up for major.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is they really set us up for a lot of things. That's where I get what you mean by slow, but I felt like there was a lot that happened.
I'm not saying in a negative way.
No, I know.
Exactly. Yeah. I think slow typically has a negative connotation, but I think that actually more and more in television, slow is a good thing. You see shows like Mad Men or any of these things, it is a slower burn. And I think the show's doing a really good job keeping us on our toes while having enough action every single week that you're like, okay, I know someone's going to die tonight. I know something's going to happen
usually good. With the exception of that one episode that we had Elizabeth in, every sort of cliffhanger has been a death. And usually it's Rusty.
Usually it's Rusty doing the killing.
Yeah.
Not the death.
Yes.
Unless he is a ghost at this point.
I have to say,
he does have very white hair.
I have to say, since we already brought it up, or since I already brought it up, whatever.
Since I brought it up, I have to say.
Ed Burns, you ruined Teresa's death for me. I didn't know it was going to happen, and I looked at his Twitter, and he had mentioned it, and I hadn't watched the episode yet, and I was so...
When did he mention it?
Well, on Tuesday on the show aired, but I was waiting. I watched the show last night.
God forbid he tweets after the show actually airs.
Eddie, how could you do that to us?
In all fairness, as creator and star of the show, I feel as if it is his prerogative to promote and talk about things that happen on his show.
I'm just...
after it airs, especially.
I know,
Technically, you are spoiling this show for people who are going to watch it Friday. We take Thursdays, and if people haven't seen the show, you are spoiling it for them.
I know. I just wanted to bring it up because
Well,
We love you, Ed.
Speaking of you bringing that up, I know that you watched last night and you watched again tonight. Do you feel like the second time you watch, you figure out more Easter eggs, or there's something you're getting more out of it?
Honestly, I like watching it a second time when it's your first time, because they just look at you and a good part's about to happen, because I already know what's going to happen.
I always know something's about to happen, because all these eyes are on me. I'm like, all right, somebody's dying right now. Something's going to happen.
She's making all these predictions. I'm like, no, keep watching.
Yeah, I had some really bad predictions tonight. I'll go over them as we go through this episode, but let's get into it. Anna, you had something No, we're ready? Okay, starting with Terry. Terry's got a lot going on. He's got stuff going on with work. He's got stuff going on with family. He's got stuff going on illegally. But I want to talk about him and Christine at first, because last week we heard that this actual looking of the house and trying to move was going to come to fruition. And tonight we see Anna calls Christine and is like, "Yo, I got a house for you, girl." In those words, because like in the 60s, that's how everybody
Here's
is.
the thing. Before I fully dive into Christine, I mean, I've been in very similar situations when you have so much going on that you just kind of get information thrown at you, and you just kind of nod like, "Oh, okay," and you don't really.
Wait, similar situation. Who's nodding? Terry?
No,
or Christine?
Terry.
Okay.
You just said Terry has a lot going on, and so what I'm saying is, having been in those situations where as you mentioned, the various things that he's dealing with, you get bits and pieces, never the full context. And so in this with the house situation, he's picking up from his James, the son, then kind of Christine, but he still doesn't even have the full pieces yet together. And I'm excited to see how it really boils down, because once he fully realizes what's going on, he's like, wait a minute, I didn't approve this at all.
So you feel like he's yupping her right now. Christine's like, by the way, I'm going to go check out a house with Ina. And he's like, sure, honey. But he really doesn't think that it's legitimate, or...
Yeah, I mean, he's just getting bits of... Yeah, he doesn't feel it's as real as it actually is.
Okay. What are you guys thinking about this?
I think it's more that he just doesn't feel it's as important as all the other things that he's dealing with. Like, maybe part of him thinks it's not actually going to happen, but he's probably thinking it's not actually going to happen because he's going to go talk to his dad and say, "No, what are you doing? You're not paying for the, like, I'm the man of this house, blah, 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 blah."
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What struck me about the scene is that I felt like Ina kind of had a little bit of a dig, where she's like, "There's nothing here in your price range." I
agree.
And yeah, like, where did that come from? Like, why, if she's either going to be like, I feel like either Team Terry or Team Christine, if she's, with Christine on this, and she has no idea what their finances are. How could she possibly know? Like,
is it a matter of, because she knows how Terry is, that she doesn't necessarily want him and his involvement closer to them?
Maybe.
I wonder if it's more that she has no interest in doing this, that her husband's kind of making her do something that she's just like, oh, I've got other stuff I want to deal with. Whatever he's sending me to take Christine to some place, we're going to have to pay for this. What's that going to mean for us? Why is he doing this? Whatever, let me take you. That's fine, honey, sure.
Oh, so maybe it's out of their price range.
Yeah.
Because he said he was going to help with the down payment, so maybe that's what it was about.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume. But I caught that dig too, and it did seem a little out of place. And as we know on the show, and Ed Burns has said a bunch of times, nothing is just random. So
Right.
we got to look into all of that.
She was excited by Queens, though. She was like, "Oh, okay, not bad."
Of course. All
They're
she
in
wants us to
Hell's
get out.
Kitchen in a one-bedroom.
She talks about it every day. And even in tonight's episode, we find out that she's really miserable. We find out through James, the son. James kind of gave a dig to Terry. He says, Dad, that's not why she's upset, in the car. And then Terry has to kick out the other kids. And he's like, James, what's up? Based on the way that we've seen Terry treat James before, I thought that he was going to verbally smack him around a little bit, but he didn't do that tonight. I thought I saw a very different parenting side of him. Did anybody feel like he kind of is growing as a father or changing a little bit?
Well, after the events of last week, where he could have literally lost his entire... Well, he's the one who would have obviously left them if he was shot. So I think he's taking kind of a more... he sees them as more valuable, just by the nature of that.
I think he also just maybe is finally kind of realizing, all right, maybe I am a little hard on him. I need to give him a little bit more of a nurturing father figure. And maybe he'll respond better to that. I don't know. Maybe he just had a change of heart. I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. There was no rhyme or reason as to why he was all of a sudden now being softer with James. Don't you guys agree that it just kind of
to a degree? I mean,
flipped?
One of the alarming things is, even James is kind of reading the book, and we've heard many times where Terry says to him, like, that's not the role model he should be going after. And every time that's said, James tries to find a different role model. And eventually you're going to run out of role models to try. And then I could see James being frustrated, like, who do you want me to look up to?
Right. Is it you? Because I don't know if you're a perfect role model. Anna, you're the one who initially I felt like had the biggest problem with his parenting style on this show. How did you feel about it in tonight's episode?
I feel like it's too late. Like, I feel James being very detached and disinterested, and I think, I don't know, it would take Terry a lot of patience and compassion and gentleness with James at this point to come back together. But at this point, I see James is gone. I do see him being protective of Christine, but so like not gone from the family entirely, but I think he sees Terry as like an enemy at this point.
Something really big and consistent would have to change in order for their relationship to build.
Right, he would have to consistently be, I'm sorry to interrupt you. He would have to consistently be just more understanding. And I also think that James is lying. I don't think he studied for a social studies test. I don't think he did well.
No, but he was doing well with when he was reciting stuff, with the mom and stuff like that.
I think he's lying too. I think the way that he said it sounded like, did you do well on the test? I don't know. Well, you either knew the answers or you didn't. Yeah, sure, I knew them. Knowing that his dad is playing him and going to give him something. Same thing with the cigarettes. Could have brushed his teeth, whatever. We see he kind of is happy after his dad doesn't notice it's on him. I think that he is doing more things that his dad wouldn't approve of than we know.
I thought the interesting part for me was when James says, like, why not move? I don't have any friends left here anyway. I thought, so that kind of was...
Maybe he's in with a bad crowd.
So who is he drinking with if he doesn't have friends left?
I don't know.
Who would he go to the Knicks game with?
Apparently his brother.
Well, no, he's lying. He's lying to Terry, though. That's the point. Like,
you think that he's not going to take his brother to the next game?
I thought he said, here are some tickets for you and your friends.
No, he said here's it for you and your friends. Just promise me that you'll take your brother. And yeah, sure, no problem, Dad. But we haven't seen yet if he does or doesn't. I think that he's going to end up. Why would we hear Terry ask him to take Michael? It just seems like it wouldn't be that important of a comment if he doesn't end up taking him.
Well, I think Michael's going to be a witness to the people that James is actually spending his time with.
Right. Oh, maybe that. Or I think James might say, Michael, you better not tell Dad I didn't take you, and kind of set up his brother for disaster here. Yeah. Something bad could happen to him, something like that. I'm worried about this family dynamic because I think that Terry is a family man, despite the fact that he has so many other things going on. And without his family, I don't think he will be able to keep going at his job, what he's doing, all of the different pieces that he's moving right now. I don't think without the support he's going to be able to keep playing this game, and the support is going to leave. We see Christine tonight. She goes, he's dead asleep, and she goes through his bag because he claims he didn't go to the club, and she doesn't believe him. She doesn't believe him. Yeah. We're starting to see this doubt. Liz even talked to us last week about how this doubt is going to continue to grow until something happens. I mean, I'm worried about him and the family. And I'm worried about what he's doing on the street too, guys. Okay, tonight we see him, he goes to collect more money. Of course, he's going around, he's picking up his money. We see him go back to Vince. Vince is getting the money from Moose. And even when Vince brings the money, he recounts the money that Vince just counted because he doesn't trust Vince anymore. I was kind of surprised by this.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely surprised because I've kind of seen this with Vince is he's somewhat losing his credit with everyone around him. The people on the street, like Moose, I'm sure doesn't really trust him like he used to because he kind of screwed him over in Moose's eyes. And then now Terry doesn't trust him, and neither does, I don't think, anyone else in the department. So he's kind of losing all of his, respect that he may have had before. And I feel like that's going to turn into something eventually, whether it's him exploding or him doing something really bad as like kind of a backlash or what's the word? That's not the word I remember.
I
you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Backlash works. So Vince is going to do something to explode?
I think so, because it's gonna build on him that nobody really trusts him anymore, and he's lost all of the respect of the people, whether it's the guys on the street or the guys in his office.
Right. Yeah, I see, but see, I also see that happening with Terry, though, because he doesn't trust anybody, and I think, like, when he's getting, like, increasingly sort of paranoid and, like, keeping more and more secrets, and, I mean, at this point, he still trusts Charlie, right? So he has that going, but I see Terry could easily explode, too, in the same way, just because he's so weirdly paranoid about everything right now.
Yeah, I think they could explode for different reasons. Exactly what you're saying about Terry. But when it comes to Vince, people keep accusing Vince of something. And when that happens, when somebody keeps saying, you're stealing from us, you might as well be guilty. So a lot of people have that mindset. If you're going to think that I'm guilty anyway, I might as well actually be stealing from you, so at least I'm getting something out of it.
But he was guilty.
How is Vince guilty? Just by having a relationship with Moose?
Yeah, with the gambling.
No, Vince didn't know about the gambling. Moose knows about the gambling.
But he was very skeptical to do anything when it was kind of happening. And that's true,
because he was protecting his friend.
And that was the whole thing, right? You know, we'll talk about the lieutenant storyline a little bit more, but it's you're all in or nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, absolutely. And so with that, it's like if there's a question, you know, and he could have done it in a friendly way, like, hey, what's going on here, buddy?
Right.
But see, this is where Terry and Vince are different, because I think Vince has this kind of understanding of, like, you know, we're friends, we grew up together, so, like, I'm going to kind of look the other way on this, I'm going to give you a break on this, whatever. But, like, with Terry, he's like, no breaks when it's money. Like, that's where we draw the line. If it's money, it's not a conversation. And, like, he'll give breaks, though, for other reasons and other situations. And so I think it's just, like, sort of a difference in a value system, almost.
I could absolutely see that. And I think that not just when it comes to money, but Vince might be giving breaks for other reasons that Terry would never do, which is that Vince, obviously we've seen, has stepped out on his wife, and he's really interested in this girl, Bernadette, who we have to assume hasn't hooked up with him yet, because she didn't last week. But he does see her tonight, and there is a moment she's like, are you taking me out? Maybe this time we can go for more than a ride. I think that he sometimes thinks with the other head. So we could definitely see him be swayed that way.
Yeah, but I think she's trying.
I made you smile, Phil.
I think Bernadette is trying to play him in some way, because, I mean, girls, a lot of women know that that's how they can get what they want from guys, or how they can, you know, persuade guys to do something.
Tina Cap, teach us your ways.
What do you mean?
Flirting, you know, acting like you're gonna hook up with the guy when you have no intentions to ever
touch
them. Come on, don't act stupid, ladies.
She wants to be a boss lady. She does.
Yes,
and so she's using her great looks and charming personality.
And she knows that Vince is interested in her, so I think she's trying to get him, you know, maybe to get him alone to, I don't know, threaten him with something or blackmail him, or I don't know what. But I think that she's trying to set him up.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, I also want to talk about some more Terry stuff. We've got him looking for information. He's using all of his different informants, but our favorite one, who isn't exactly an informant, but he seems like he's a flip-flopper, is Duffy. So he gets a phone call from Duffy after threatening to throw Duffy back in prison. Duffy's like, I finally got something, man. And basically tells him everything he's been afraid of. Like, confirms all of his beliefs about who shot who and when they shot them and where everybody is and why everything is happening. And you can just see in Terry's face, he's like, crap, I gotta go tell Charlie this. And like you said, Anna, Charlie's the one he still trusts.
Yeah.
So he does go, even though Charlie's a little busy right now, you know, after being shot and all. But he goes and he talks to Charlie and he says, here's all of the information. The only piece of the puzzle that they can't put together is why Patton's crew would kill somebody from their own crew. Which was, it's interesting. Is there anything else that they're missing right now? Or is that literally the only piece of the puzzle that they can't solve?
Why they killed Rogers and O'Reilly? Or no, that's
Smitty.
Richie.
Why they killed Smitty? Why? Because it's part of their own crew. Why would they kill Smitty? We know why.
Well, we know why, and I think I would have to think that Terry knows who Rusty is, what kind of a guy he is, and maybe knows that he's not 100% in allegiance with his dad.
But not even. Again, we'll talk about Rusty, but even Red doesn't know the full extent of how willing Rusty is. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
how could you know?
And Charlie kind of downplayed the whole situation of like, these guys, who knows what.
What does a full-blown war look like? If this doesn't look like a war, what the hell does war look like?
Well, I think why it's maybe not considered war just yet is...
You need to know the enemies.
Right, and I think once... I'm assuming next episode we're going to find Rusty and Richie finally, meeting up, and that's when I think we'll see what everyone is saying the full-blown war is.
I think. Oh, sorry.
No,
I keep doing this to you. I'm sorry.
You really don't. I feel like she's putting a period on the end of her sentences, and then you're picking up where she's putting it down.
And then I feel like I want to say something, and then there's nothing more for me to say. So you're actually doing me a favor.
Okay, good. All right, I'm done. I think that the end of this episode marked the beginning of the full-blown war. I think once you start killing innocent people, or innocent people start losing their lives in the crossfire, whatever, that's when it's a full-blown war.
You know who agrees with you? Teresa. Too bad she can't share that opinion anymore. We'll get there, though. Ooh.
Well, yeah, because this already, Richie is in hot pursuit of Rusty, wanting to do anything and everything he can. We don't think he really, I think you guys agree he's not, like, in love with Teresa, but this is, I feel like, going to be the match that ignites, a huge bomb in him.
Yeah, it's already there, though. It's building up. We can't call this a Cold War because people are dropping left and right. So I feel like we're already at war. So we're about to go into a place that I can't even imagine what it's going to look like. And that's with our businesses. But what we have also wars going on is in our personal relationships. So Charlie, who's in the hospital at some point in this episode, his mom is there, but who also comes to visit him is his daughter and his daughter's fiance. So Ryan and Agnes come.
Question first, this is random, but how come his mom understands everyone what they're saying, but she can't speak English?
That's the grammar.
Is that normal that people can understand English, but they can't speak it?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on from that.
Sorry, I just had to ask. I'm sorry.
No, it's a fair question, but yeah, that does happen a lot. It's easier to understand something to speak, and I bet she can probably speak a little bit, but it's just more comfortable in her language.
Yeah. Also, I feel like for somebody who only wanted like a shot of whiskey after being shot, he's kind of milking this now. No, I mean,
well, how long is it? How long has it actually been at this point?
We don't know.
4 or 5 days. Relax, people.
Okay, all right. So they go to visit because Agnes wants, or at least Ryan wants Agnes and the wedding to be at a different church than where she was baptized.
I feel like Ryan is going to get his ass kicked eventually.
I think that Ryan and Agnes aren't going to last very long.
There you go, because Ryan's going to get his ass kicked eventually.
Yeah, this seemed like a strange argument to have at the hospital that her father was shot in.
Well, he wasn't shot in the hospital.
No, I'm just saying that he's lying shot in this hospital, and this is what they're bickering about, which church they're getting married in. I mean, absolutely, I have to respect anything that's important to somebody, but I just feel like this should be one of those, there's more to life than where we get married kind of things.
Right. Also, I didn't quite understand. Did I miss something when he was like, we're doing this for him because it costs less money?
Yeah, I think that was meant as a subtle dig as well. Like trying to say, your dad doesn't have a lot of money. Like, we're trying to help him. Like, oh, poor Charlie, he's doesn't make a lot of money, he's a cop. I think it was kind of a dig because we don't really know. We know Ryan's a firefighter and his dad was a firefighter, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what firemen made back in that day and age, or if it was more than cops or not.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Did you not think that was a dig? Did you feel it was a different?
Absolutely, I felt that I felt it was a dig, and I'm just waiting for the Scorsese quote to come out from Charlie of like, "Go save a fucking kitten in a tree, will you?"
Fair enough. So we're just gonna have to kind of see what happens with Ryan, Agnes, and where they go. Right now, they're adding it into the story, and it's like we don't know their relationship that well, so it's hard for me to care if they break up. But I do think that Charlie is our tie to them, and we'll have it. Will
It's
have some
something about
effect on
these
them.
young guys on the show. I just don't like them.
Part of me
I don't like
kind of
the new
Shay?
Shay. I don't like. I
love
want to
Shay.
punch him in the face. Ryan, I want to punch him in the face.
Why
too.
do you want to punch them in the face?
I don't
That's
like
got to
them.
be a Phil problem.
I mean, I know.
I'm like Sean. I just want to punch somebody.
Sean's a young guy.
Sean's a good guy. He's a Beantown kid.
Okay, so you like, all right, okay.
part of
see
me,
what's happening.
Part of me thinks that maybe Ryan has ulterior motives.
Like what?
We'll talk about it in
know.
predictions.
Yeah, okay.
So another thing that happens in tonight's episode that I was really excited about is that we got to see this side of the table is going to kill me right now. Is that we got to see?
I'm gonna have a heat stroke before that.
Oh, really?
We got to see the lieutenant storyline, and a big chunk of it for the first time in 7 episodes. You know, he's been part of these stories, but he hasn't really been a huge. We haven't seen him separate from the rest of the group and kind of go off.
And Lubin Santiago, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Phenomenal guy. I'm glad we saw more of him.
It was cool. However, again, a storyline, I don't know where we're going with this. He wanted his nephew to be involved with his team. I guess Shay took the spot that his nephew was supposed to take. Now, based on this woman that he's seeing, the woman's son who he likes, got his hands broken by this guy. Now he can't play guitar, so he's going to beat up this guy. And they go to beat up this guy. They beat the living crap out of him.
I have a couple of things.
Oh, I gotta hear him.
Number one, I've been reading a lot of stuff online, and it appears that you, as fans, are most intrigued to see Lieutenant. He's a man of color, right? In a time when basically, you know, it's not really diverse, and so they want to see like how he's actually dealing with that side of it, you know, in a position of power. Number one. So I'm interested to see that. We haven't kind of dived into that. Number two.
Yeah, but before we could dive into that, we needed to see more about his character and his storyline. So
Right.
I'm sure we'll
Fair
see
enough.
all the adversities he faces and everybody else faces.
Fair enough. Number two, no offense, I feel like we didn't quite beat up the guy as much as we could have. I feel like if the
Blue?
goal was no jaw, no hand, no legs, I don't know if we succeeded. I feel like he still could have.
Yeah, he got kicked in the stomach a lot, but I'm with you, Phil. I mean, I don't know what that says.
I don't
about
mean to
me,
be sadistic. I'm
but
just saying if the goal was that.
the goal was don't let him walk out of here. And I was like, that guy's walking out of there. Eventually,
correct.
he's going to stand up.
This is so bad for our panel and so sick and twisted, but I had the same exact thought. I did. I was like, hit him again with the pipe. Hit him with the pipe. Like, don't keep kicking him. He's already down. You got to hit him.
Yeah.
So,
Our panel.
the views here expressed are afterwards, not expressed, whatever.
So
I'm just saying,
maybe-
if that was the goal, we didn't achieve the goal. That's it.
Cap, save
Okay,
us.
so maybe this is going to turn into something in the next episode or two where Sonny Blue comes back because they didn't beat him up enough and retaliates against this nephew.
We'll see. We'll see how he does. I'm just saying that, like you guys, he's walking out of there. We didn't accomplish the goal. I'm a goal-oriented person.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when they, like, right away, they're like, I think we have a new member of our team. Like,
Yeah.
really? Because I feel like he didn't prove himself that hard. I don't know.
So anyway,
He did kick him with all of his might in the stomach a few times.
we have a little more.
It also looked
but it
like he
wasn't a
kicked him in the
puppy,
face,
like,
though.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a sweeter storyline going on.
We're the worst.
Yeah, we're not curb stomping him. We're curb stomping nobody here.
Yeah, we didn't have to do that.
Oh
Let's
my
go to the
God.
barn. Please let me go to the barn with Sarah and Hopkins.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
We gotta get to the barn.
Because you know who doesn't want to have some good old fashioned sex in the barn? So
weird.
So we go. Hopkins is a character that we've met a couple times. We don't know that much about. Now he's engaged to this girl named Sarah who he grew up with. Does anybody have feelings about this? Either pro or con, or like he's
It's a
gonna
little
die?
too fast.
Yeah, I just think that poor thing. He's a
gonna die.
goner.
Yeah.
He's a goner. I can't get invested in their love life because I'll end up like Sarah, devastated. So rest in peace, Hopkins. You don't even know that you're dead yet, but you are.
You're dead to us.
And the
so
reason
there.
why he's dead is because of his dear friend Richie, who's getting him in so much trouble, and he's just going along with it. Richie is going after Rusty. He doesn't care. We've already seen him take care of business, and he's getting other people involved. Hopkins is going to end up dead because you know what? Teresa already ended up dead just because he wanted her to go pick up the frickin' guns.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Cole, you keep your mouth shut.
I'm very upset with I'm upset with her, and I'm very upset with Richie because just words of advice, ladies. Anytime a man tells you don't get involved, but gives you specific directions to follow and act upon, now you're involved. That's it. Just end of story.
But she
got her eyebrow
insisted on helping him.
Yeah, but again, what I'm saying is, as a man, then if you say don't get involved, like it's.
I think he was trying to say that like to be nice, to be like, really, I don't want you to get involved. But then when I think he knew that she was kind of a ride or die, like, I want to get involved.
I just think
she did.
Yeah, she did die. I think that the statement that anytime a man says don't get involved, ladies don't get involved, needs to be something that we are clear upon that I disagree with.
And also, I think it's gender neutral. Like, I think if if anybody says don't get involved to, like, male or female says to male or female don't get involved, but then says go pick up illegal guns for me, it's like maybe not the route you should be on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, so.
I'll agree to that.
But
Fair enough.
The eyebrow was raised before that. What's wrong with the situation here? Are you skeptical?
No, I don't know why I was raising my eyebrow. I was thinking at the time, I think, if we're at the same moment,
there were many eyebrow raises.
Yeah. Well, you know, this panel's nuts. That if Richie and Rusty could just get on the same page, they would be
unstoppable.
I mean, they would be amazing. They could take over New York. And
the problem with people who want power is they want power. They don't want everybody to have power, and even two people having power might be too much for them.
But
I don't think they'd be unstoppable. I think they would just start massacre. Like, it would be a massacre because anyone that ever got in their way, they'd just choke with their hands, like, and they'd go back to prison like that.
Tina, thank God we have you on this panel because we're trying to really beat the crap out of people, and you're trying to save them until you went curb stomping, and now I don't even know what to make of that.
Put your mouth on the curb. Put it on the curb. I love that movie.
Oh my God, it's so scary.
The movie is American History X.
Yeah, it is. I think we know. Oh dear God. Okay, so we go to Rusty.
I can't wait for the racist comments we're gonna get.
Oh God.
Accusations.
We go to Rusty, and Rusty's got a lot of stuff going on too. He is a crazy one. First of all, he goes to Ina. We learned for the first time tonight, which, by the way, Tina Kaplan and I got in our very first fight because she thinks she called something.
I think it was a fight.
Oh, sorry, not Ina. Kay, sorry. Ina's house shopping. Kay is the one who's screwing Rusty, or not quite.
No. 7 years ago.
7 years ago, and we're sitting
tonight.
there, and tonight she doesn't quite get there, but she
will, because he's bringing her that red negligee. He likes red.
Yeah.
Well, can't I bring up a point, Roxy, that last week on the panel when I said, "What if he's doing this for her?" You never said. I said that 4 weeks ago.
What? Let's look at the tapes, because we talked about this like the first or second week.
I know, I believe you, but I'm just wondering why you didn't bring it up.
For you guys at home, well, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that we always knew there was a reason that Rusty killed Mr. O that didn't have to do just with politics, because it didn't make any sense. We predicted it had to do with Kay, because there was that strange moment at the funeral, which, by the way, was weeks and weeks ago, and I totally called it. But that's irrelevant because we're all team here. So
I'm not saying you didn't call it. She's the one that wants to fight here. Clearly, we all know Roxy.
This is like the third time you brought it up.
Roxy is probably gonna.
I would like everybody at home to know.
Here's what I would like to discuss. I was really down on her because she didn't seem as strong. At first she says no, but then he's like, okay, no for now, but tomorrow we meet up, and here's all the things you will do tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay.
Okay, don't wear black. Okay, I like red. Okay, I'll pick you up. Yeah, I was like, all right, if you're gonna see him tomorrow, just bang him now. Like, you made plans to sleep with him tomorrow. What's the difference?
She might have to shave her legs.
She really might. That's true. Girls gotta get waxed.
Oh gosh, that's so annoying.
When you have to shave your legs.
Yeah, because I really don't like ever doing it.
It's not as bad as when you're in the studio and you have upper lip sweat that people can see on camera, which is going on with me right now.
I smell so bad. Like, we need to. Okay,
we need to power through. We're in Los Angeles. It's 90 degrees in the valley at 9 p.m.
All right,
so
bringing it back. Bringing it back. Rusty has a few more things going on. Number one, Patton and Red are in a fight over who's got the power. Rusty obviously thinks it's him. Red seems to stick up to Rusty when he talks to Patton, but then when Red goes to talk to Rusty later, he stands up for Patton and says that he doesn't know if Rusty is the man for the job. Is Red a flip-flopper, or is his mind changing? Is he a people pleaser? Like what?
I think he's got to try to keep the peace here. That's what he's trying to do. I mean, there's just so much bloodshed, and he's got to get those two in a room and to actually just agree or whatever. It's just not good. Red's getting caught in the crosshairs, and after Rusty's talk with him, I don't know how much time Red actually has. The only reason Red wouldn't die is because then Patton would obviously know something's up, and then now
you think Rusty's gonna kill Red?
I mean, who knows what Rusty's capable of?
Rusty's killing everyone that's standing in his way, and right now he sees Red as someone who's standing in his way. But I don't necessarily know if Red's trying to keep the peace or if he's just trying. He doesn't want to get on either person's bad side.
But he's trying.
I think he's doing it more. But I think he.
Like, it would be one thing if he went to Red and was like, if he went to Patton and was like, Patton, you're the boss. And then he went to Rusty and was like, Rusty, you're the boss. But he's doing the opposite of that.
That's true, I guess.
It's so strange.
I think he's a drunk and just like a shit stirrer, I think, is the deal.
I could see it.
I think he's a little smarter than that.
Or maybe he's planning something.
Maybe he is, but he's always hammered. So
I think that he was with Rusty, and now he thinks Rusty's gone too far, and that Rusty's on a power trip. So what does Rusty say? This is what going all the way looks like, or something?
Well, okay, how could he think Rusty has gone too far when he's the one that walked outside to Sully and shot him straight in the face?
yeah,
That's true.
and he is the one who started this. Like, let's take over. Let's go all the way with this.
Some people can't hang, especially when you're going around strangling women in tubs. There's a code, and so he did shoot somebody in the car, but it wasn't a woman and it wasn't an innocent. What do you guys think when Rusty walks into Teresa's room? She's in the tub. Are you thinking she's dead, woman, or are you thinking? Oh, you knew.
I knew as soon as he said, like, I feel bad for this woman.
Yeah.
On the phone with Colt.
Yeah.
That was
I knew as soon as Ed tweeted it, but then I knew as soon as.
Thank you.
Bringing it full circle. I kind of felt like when he said, I'm not going to shoot you, I was like, oh, he's not going to shoot you. He's going to leave as a message. And then I was like, oh, I'm a moron. How did I fall for that?
He likes killing people with his bare hands. Mm-hmm. He's like, he's sadistic.
If you know anything about Hitchcock, there's a sadistic pleasure that Hitchcock talks about the physicality of it all.
But then after he does it, in case somebody could possibly think she drowned, he shoots her so that they know.
He likes Red.
Well, I was thinking that he did that because maybe she's good at holding her breath and he thought she could fake that she would. Because she was flailing and then stopped really quick.
You want to know what's so interesting about you, what you just said? I was thinking if somebody was strangling me in the tub, I would try really hard to just like not flail and just be calm. Try to hold my breath but I don't think it works like that because I've never once seen anything like that happen.
Well, I'd scream like she did, and then maybe when he was holding me under, just
curb stop.
Try to hold my breath until he left.
I don't think you guys should be talking about what you would do in this situation in case you ever find yourself in it.
Right, well, that's why we should be talking about it, because we can figure out the best way to go.
Yeah, but not online. You can stay on the internet forever. You don't know who's going to find you.
That's true. Oh my God.
I don't have a bathtub in my apartment.
We gotta take this out. We gotta take this out. We have a little bit of news and gossip, then we'll get to predictions, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Speaking of our news.
All right. Did I break Christina Kap's heart? I already did.
I was going to say, this is a Phil thing.
No, I knew this already.
I'm going to break Tina Kap's
wait. No, we have to pause. No. I wanted you to get through the news quickly, but you can't shush a woman. You can't shush anybody. It's just
especially not with that hand motion. Okay.
The people on iTunes, just so you know, he did like the lips shut hand motion. It was like you put your fingers together.
Nina Dobrev and Sean from the show are dating. Tina Kap likes Sean from the show.
What's his name? What's his real name?
Beantown.
Austin Stowell.
Well, he ain't for you.
That's fine.
Okay, she She likes him because she thinks that he does a really good job in the she thinks
I think
he's a talented
attractive
actor.
and he's a good actor. Yeah,
She doesn't like
so
journal
bad?
about him.
Hide it. Dear diary.
Dear diary.
So
Sean
we
drank
don't know-
a beer and it was so cute.
We don't know what it means that they're dating. They could just be, seeing each other casually. But there
We've
was
seen
a photo
official
of them.
photos of them together on the red carpet.
Yeah, we have seen that. Okay, so that's it for our news and gossip this week. Let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Remember earlier when I cut you off, Tina Cap, when you were giving your prediction?
What was I predicting? I forget.
Yeah, Agnes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you were predicting
Oh, I was
specifically, but
predicting that I think Ryan has ulterior motives.
What kind of thing? Like he wants to be a cop, not a firefighter? So
No, I don't know. Like, that whole scene, I didn't think anything of it until that last scene when he's like, oh, is he always like this? Mm-hmm. And then she's like, well, it is my wedding.
maybe he
And you
knows that the
said
dad's
that.
crooked, and so he wants to expose it.
I don't
Maybe the firefighters and the
know.
cops have major beef.
I don't think it has anything to do with the firefighters and the cops.
Okay. I was trying to help your point.
No, I don't. I just feel like that storyline is not just going to dissipate. I mean, clearly they showed us that for a reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what are you guys thinking? Any predictions?
I think that, that Red probably not going to last a season. I think Patton's taking him out, though.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I think Hopkins is gone, and Richie, we'll see where he ends up.
Yeah.
So in the previews, do we think? I couldn't figure out if it was actually Terry talking to Patton when he's saying,
I think they met up.
who's responsible for this, and then Patton says we're almost at the end. Was that them talking, or was
Could
that
be
cut
editing.
scene? Yeah,
We
that's
don't
what I
know.
was wondering.
I think they do meet up, but then I think they also spliced in other moments when the two are talking at separate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also am very, very curious about what's going to happen with Shay.
Why Vince punches him?
Yeah, and there's he says that people are mixed on him, and we've been mixed the whole time. I think he's got to be a mole of some sort, but the most interesting part will be if he is who he's working for.
He's got that shit-eating smile. Like, how's your day? Smile.
No, the term is shit-eating grin.
There you go. That's it.
I'm loving the teamwork tonight, guys.
Well-
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Well, Brian Wiles told us that episode 8 is when his character has a huge thing happen.
We don't know what that means.
Same with Aaron Eisenberg, Richie's character. They both have huge things happening next episode.
Speaking of which, we have no. You go. You got it. You set it up, girl.
Full circle.
No.
Aaron Eisenberg, Richie, Kane is going to be hopefully Skyping in, at the very least calling in next week for our show.
Do you guys feel that air? That was because he's calling in.
Yeah.
And we're working on an interview with like a quick soundbite from Fortune.
Yeah, from Katrina, and also we're talking to Ed's people, and hopefully we'll have him in for the finale. So we've got a lot of really fun stuff.
With your
Brian
powers
Wiles, Shay,
combined, with
is
your
gonna be
powers
on the
combined,
next
tweet at
week.
all these people, get them in.
Yeah, honestly, you guys have been the absolute best, and we just want to give back to you guys by getting these interviews and giving the information that you want to hear. So make sure that you tweet at us throughout the week if you want to keep the conversation going. Speaking of which, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Tina Cap.
You can follow me at Koppel from Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
AFTERBUZZ.
Or
TV.
TV.
AfterBuzz TV. You can find us at AfterBuzz TV, AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube.com/AfterBuzz TV, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, wherever you are. Give us that thumbs up, that 5-star. Write a comment. We read everything you guys have to say.
Yeah, I love what Nightwolf had to say.
What did he say?
Great things about me.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and we will be back here same time. No, actually, we'll be here at 7.
early time next week.
Early time next week if you're with us live at 7 p.m. If you watch later, it doesn't make a difference to you. Thank you guys for being the most amazing fans. We'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.